This is Arthur MacArthur, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when you're the real deal. This is Wrestling Cheers. We like to talk about things going the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a preview for this Friday's show from AIW, live at the Odeon, also available on Fight TV, Bobblehead Night, featuring D'Lo Brown. I am your host, I am Justin Summers, and Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by Trending Topics Network and Midwest Territory. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I said, this is a preview episode for AIW's Bobblehead Night. And like I said, I am Justin Summers, and I'm being joined by Kayden.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It's been not long, but yeah.
Not too long. I mean, we just had 2 interview episodes, but you were sometime before that. There's like a cluster of episodes.
I'm on
somewhere.
Pretty much every episode, so yeah.
In between you, Stacy, and Charlie. Like, it's been, and like Stacy was on like, I don't know how many in a row. And
all of them, too.
He made a comment about like coming on this week because he didn't think I was received word back from anybody. I'm like, no, like I got 2 people in mind. I've talked to them, but I'm like, I'm giving you a couple weeks off because you were on like a lot for a short amount of time.
You were on 2 months worth of episodes.
That's what it seemed like. And then for the first time, in I don't know how long, we have Rick.
It's been a minute, has it not?
It's been a while. Like
it has been months. Like, probably since. Before Absolution for sure. I know that wasn't that long ago. It just feels like it was that long ago, but
God, but still, like according to like episodes, and like you figure like every AIW show has a preview review, and we had like 3 shows in a short amount of time. With like the week before Absolution, and then a couple weeks later with Wrestle Rager.
I'll have to go back and look now because now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think right now the one who hasn't been on in the longest, I think right now is Thrift Store Jobber, which I reached out to him. I'm like, do you still want to do this show? And ironically enough, no answer.
I think Jobber he might have been doing Podbean Dam this week too, so he might have been a busy little boy.
Well, I was asking to be on. I was just like, hey, like I'm just trying to get like heads up from a couple of people. Like, do you still want to do the show? Not?
Hey, you still alive? What's going on, buddy?
But yeah, it's great to have you back on.
You know what? It's nice. I like. There's times I feel like I have to limit my exposure because some people enjoy hearing me and some people do not. So, absence makes the heart grow fonder, I guess. So I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you and young Kayden.
Well, don't worry, we won't be talking about the Browns.
We can talk about whatever you want. It's your show.
No, those are fun conversations. I say that somewhat jokingly, and even though you got to remember when talking to me, I am a Bears fan too. So like
yeah, I'm a Bears fan because that's where I'm from, and I play the bad guy because even Pat says, "Oh, you're such a Cleveland sports hater." I said, "No, my entire family, my wife's entire family here lives here in the Cleveland area, and they are all." Getting up there in ages. So I would like to see a World Series. I would like to see a Super Bowl here in Cleveland before, before it gets too long in the, I don't want to say it, but before it gets too far ahead in the future, if you know what I mean. So it's all a work, but it's all a work.
I mean, I've seen 3 World Series in my lifetime, but I've also seen 3 losses. But that's just...
Yeah, let's not talk about those.
Especially that last one. That last one was horrible. Anyway,
moving on.
Yeah, moving on to Bobblehead Night featuring D'Lo Brown. How you guys feeling about D'Lo Brown coming to AIW? Start with Kayden.
I'm excited. It's another name that pops up on a lot of indie shows around, well, not in Ohio, but in the Midwest. It's nice to see him in Ohio, finally.
He's definitely not one of those dudes that, I loved growing up, but he's been around a long time, and I think he's, right on the cutoff of whether I want to get a picture with him or not. I haven't 100% decided, but the fact that if you bought front row tickets, you get a pin.
You get a real sweet pin.
Yeah, that's a pretty fucking sweet pin. Which I know one thing I'm trying to do, but it's so hard of getting away from buying shirts and start buying pins. But then you have today of this recording, the production releases a new shirt that's inspired by the Browns. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, stop. I'm getting tired of this shit.
I don't have money.
No, I have money. It's just, I have no closet room. I have a lot of fucking shirts. Actually, I have to go through them soon and start putting them away of ones that, I don't wear.
I have as many wrestling shows as you have shirts.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have a lot of shirts, too, but not nearly as many as you.
Just Johnny Gargano alone, I counted recently, I have 20. Maybe it's 21, because I think there was one that I didn't count. But still, it's a lot for one dude.
That's probably not all of the shirts he's released either, which is scary.
Yeah, because he released a lot just through Pro Wrestling Tees that I really liked, but I never got. And I'm like, oh, I'd have it close to 30, if not more.
You can still get them. Yeah,
I think last time I knew that link was working. Anyway, Rick, how do you feel about D'Lo Brown?
I was never a big D'Lo guy. I get more excited when they bring guys in that I can tell, some of the guys are excited about. I know, Twan Tucker's going nuts because he gets to work with D'Lo Brown. He gets to, hang out with D'Lo Brown, pick his brain and stuff like that. So I guess it's one of those, I'll live vicariously through guys like that who are a bit more excited about, about seeing and learning from D'Lo Brown. And, if that helps, if that helps the guys, we're going to see D'Lo one time. But if it helps the guys for a year to come, then, man, I am all for it.
Yeah, this creates a really cool moment for Big Twan. I think there's, a handful of bookings that you can do that Twan will just absolutely love, and we already know one of them's Faye Jackson. And also, Rick, you actually won't be at this show. You didn't tell me that until right before we started recording.
Oh yeah, I'm bummed. I have an event for the wife I have to go do. I gotta go play real estate husband to my real estate wife, who has I guess what the equivalent of a kind of a charity event. So gonna go rent the Terrace Club out and drink till I can't feel feelings. I'm not a big, I'm not the biggest Indians fan to start with, and I'm also not a big. I have a hard time going to sports ball game matchups and finding something to do. I mean, I don't know if if that part of my personality is that Mikey Millennial, where I just need some type of entertainment that's not wait for a man to throw a ball to other man with club. I want it to be like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where they just rapid fire those things, and it's whatever. But I will, however, be watching this bad boy on Fight TV at the ball game, so no worries there.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. We're getting into a point with AIW, and it's not necessarily guaranteed to be at every show, but they're trying to work on more and more shows showing up on Fight TV. There's this show is going to be on Fight TV, and next week's show, which was announced, I think, yesterday, that it also will be on Fight TV. That'll be the first Winchester show, if I'm correct, to be on Fight TV.
It's going to be really interesting. We'll have to see the setup there. I mean, probably most of the folks that, from the area have been there. But if you're, an out-of-towner who just listens, it's a good-sized venue, but it's a small wrestling venue, where, two sides of the ring is all we have access to. So I'm anxious to see how they're going to set that up for for live streaming and everything like that. Yeah, either way, it's it's going to be Janela, and he's going to be all over the place. So he'll probably try to knock out Pat in the process, and I'm all for that as well.
Oh, yeah. Also, I want to throw this out as just a programming note. Normally, obviously, we do, preview show, then the review show. Well, with these next two shows being like right on top of each other, it's going to be easier just to do one show a week. This week, you're obviously getting a preview for Bobblehead Night. And then next week, instead of getting the review for this show, we will be doing a preview for Bad Boy for Life, not Bad Boys for Life. Then we will review this show and then review that show. That's pretty much the next 4 weeks of show. Instead of doing preview, review, it's going to be preview, review. It'll be fun next week when I'm trying to remember like what's what and not think, oh yeah, we just had a show, we're going to talk about it. No, we're going to talk about a show coming up. So little peek behind the curtain. So if you're waiting or you're going to be waiting for the review for this episode, it will be in 2 weeks. So let's get into Bobblehead Night. And we're going to start with what we normally do, pick 3 matches, talk about them, and then do picks all through every single match. And we're going to start with one of the ones that was just announced. We have the AIW Tag Team title rematch. PME versus To Infinity and Beyond. This has been a match, a feud that's pretty much been going on since Hell on Earth last year. PME finally won the titles at Absolution after cashing in their Chandler Biggins Memorial Tag Team Tournament trophy. And, the whole thing is now is they have to beat To Infinity and Beyond one more time. It's a very much a prove it type of moment. How you feeling about this match, Kayden?
My feelings on To Infinity and Beyond.
Favorite tag team of all time.
Sure, we'll go with that.
They are AIW's version of the Legion of Doom. As soon as they come out, it's the To Infinity and Beyond pop, not the Legion of Doom pop. Yep, I get it.
No matter how much I hate on them, they're good. All of their matches are fun. Their matches with I can't even say matches. Their series with PME has been fantastic. And if this is the ending to it, I don't know if it's the official ending. Never know. I'm looking forward to it.
Hashtag To Infinity and Beyond wins, LOL.
Who knows? We'll see.
What's your thoughts on this match, Rick?
Well, going back to Absolution, that build for PME to finally win those titles at Absolution, I thought was so well done that I don't think there's any way in the world that Philly or Marino is going to try anything less than anything it takes to retain the titles. Colin and Cheech, I'm on the same boat as Kayden. I love the guys, but I'm ready for them to maybe take a vacation for a while and go do something else.
Bring Cloudy and Jimmy Olsen back.
Yeah, Cloudy. Need some needlepoint or sewing. Colin's got that cereal bar thing. Maybe he'll go, a few more days in the shop. I'm ready for PME to get through this and, start to bring on the new crop of challengers. I know it's not one we're going to talk about and we can vaguely reference, but you do have a 4-way tag team scramble on this card as well. Yeah. So, there's
maybe
there could be some
get a shot.
Yeah, well, I would think that's probably a pretty safe bet. We've seen, Bitcoin get put together with the Duke, and about that fella pulling some strings and throwing his weight and money around. But if this match is anything like the one they had at Absolution, we're definitely in for a treat.
It will be good. It's guaranteed.
I don't really necessarily want to see, To Infinity and Beyond go away. Just keep away from the title picture. I think they could do well, maybe being in some, fatal 4-way matches or, maybe having a feud with, Production, 40 Acres or the Bitcoin Boys, somebody. Just kind of keep them away from the titles. I kind of look at it like Donst for a while. I was like,
yep.
You've always been, or at least there's the stretch where he was always around the title. And then after he lost to Gage and that feud was finally over, I was like, okay, let's not have him around the title anymore. And I give AIW credit. For a while, he wasn't even announced for shows anymore. He was like maybe some like surprise run-ins, maybe in a surprise scramble or a surprise fatal four-way or something where it was like, okay, cool.
Went from being in big matches constantly to just, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of cool. So when he showed up, I was like, oh, cool. Like, okay, Donst is here. Not like, all right, here's, big match Donst, which there was also that history with him of,
big match Donst.
Which, ironically enough, we're talking about him. Guess who's not on the card?
Surprisingly.
Which, I was thinking about that earlier, unless he's going to be in another match. But then again, there's a lot of matches announced already. Maybe he's got a booking in Nova Pro. I don't know.
You never count anything out, though. You never know who's going to show up.
Oh, I mean, that of course, like, there's a couple people I wouldn't be surprised if they're there. Whether they're in a match or just fucking hanging out, it's still possible. Who'd you say?
Kaplan.
Well, we know he's going to be at least here this weekend.
Kaplan.
Why do we know that he's going to be here this weekend?
Kaplan is booked for UXWA, so I'm going to implore the AIW faithful to refrain from buying Kaplan any more than 18 to 20 beers. Kayden, I'm looking in your general direction.
I'm a good child.
because I need that guy in good shape to deal with the gentleman we have going on over at the other place. I'm okay with Colin and Cheech staying around. It's just, take up gardening or pottery. Just stay away from the titles for a while. I almost feel like this is running this match back is kind of a way to get PME out of that shadow. That, it's just like Kayden says, and you said before too, the thing about Colin and Cheech is they just never lose, until finally they lost. I would love to see them lose twice in a row. And then it's like, okay, now, hey, now what's going on? You got, production, and you got 40 acres, and you got, you got all these Bitcoin boys, you got all these great teams.
Aeroform.
It's just, yeah, sure. You have so many great. It's time for somebody else to get an opportunity.
We also have Nick Gage and Filthy Tom Lawler. If that tag team wants to, form back up again,
I wouldn't be opposed to this.
By the way, the best promo was Gage and Lawler upstairs in the hallway at the Odeon, where Gage just comes in. I don't know this guy, and I don't know this guy. And Lawler walks away, and he's F. Tom Lawler. I'm like, that guy's your partner, dude. Come on. I love Nick Gage.
Everybody. No, I can't say that. I was going to say everybody loves Nick.
Not everybody. Try again.
Yeah, there's definitely like some demographics that don't like him, but I mean, as a whole, or if you get to know Nick Gage, he is.
Once you see him like 3 times, you're a fan of him.
Oh yeah. So one of my favorite things is like now when he sees me, I don't think he knows me by name, but he recognizes my face and he's like, "Oh, what's up, my dude?" or something like that. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool.
That's sweet.
One of the most absolute things you have to experience is that the Nick Gage hugs after the friggin' after the events, after he's just been in a match where he smashed somebody with a light tube or he's bleeding or whatever.
He's still pumped.
Oh, yeah, he's so just up for it.
I love that Nick Gage. You know what? Speaking of which, let's move into that match. That's a great transition.
Speaking of Nick Gage.
No DQ. Anything goes.
No, I'm not bringing weapons.
Wes Barkley versus Nick Gage. You can count on that. We'll talk.
Oh boy.
I think the what we have right now with these two is Wes does have a victory over Gage, or like a pinfall. Not necessarily a victory, but he did pin him at the Winchester. Unfortunately, him and Bishop weren't able to come up on the winning side at Wrestle Rager. So technically now between, Wes and Gage, it's, 1-1. How you feeling about this, Rick?
I think Wes is going to die. I don't have any problem with Wes pretty much getting put through the ringer by Gage. It's going to be doors. It's going to be chairs. Thankfully, there's not going to be any glass or sharp or pointy objects. And Kayden just said he was. Kayden, did I hear you right? You said you're not bringing weapons to the venue?
I was not informed to bring anything, and I doubt they need anything.
But,
yeah, you probably don't need anything.
But
They'll bring one of those water jugs. They seem to like those.
Gage loves that. Water jug on a pole, man? It's like...
The water jug bonk stick.
Is that the water jug bonk stick? Thank you.
But hold on, Kayden. We know, like, that can change on a moment's notice for you. They could message you midnight, Thursday going into Friday. Hey,
it's happened before.
I'll say bring weapons.
Like 1 a.m.
I'll say
hey, can you bring these 3 things?
Hey, can you bring weapons? And by the time showtime hits, you have a wagon full of deadly items.
Hey, you give me an hour and I can figure out things to make.
Kayden's in the parking lot with 1,000 thumbtacks, a couple of shoes, and a bottle of Gorilla Glue, and he's going to town.
I doubt they need them, but I have a bunch of packs.
I don't think so.
Oddly enough, Kayden is like the young MacGyver of deathmatch weapons. Like,
that's a good, a really good comparison.
But
one of my first independent wrestling shows I watched was Tournament of Death 8. So
now, Rick, do you think Kayden understood that reference?
No,
kind of.
But that's okay. Well, hey, there was a. Didn't they did two MacGyvers, and they just bring that back recently, so he might, we're not talking, what is it, Richard Dean Anderson MacGyver, we're talking,
yeah,
so.
And there was MacGruber too, but that was different.
Oh, yeah, that was completely different. I don't know if that holds up, but I'm okay with it. I don't think they're going to need any, I don't think you're going to need any weapons in this one. I think Gage just wants to beat him up. So I think
the water jug bonk stick will be useful.
The water jug bonk stick. I think the no DQ is just more for the ease of operations in this one. So then
can't call it a death match. We'll get in trouble.
No, don't want to do that. But I think he just wants to put a beating on him. I'm anxious to see how many Barkley. What do they even call them now? Barkley maniacs or whatever are in the crowd. Are there trying to maniacs because they're trying to pick a fight with Nick Gage?
Don't fight Nick Gage.
No.
Don't do it.
There's guys who just don't want to fight. Nick Gage is probably way up there on the list.
He's one of
easily
them.
Easily top 5.
Easily top 2.
Top 2. Top 2. All right, Kayden. Who's the other one?
It's probably Eddie Kingston.
Okay, yeah. I'd put Kingston up there too.
Yeah, probably Eddie Kingston. I think is an understatement.
Yeah. For sure.
Just be smart. Don't fight any wrestlers ever.
Yeah, don't do that.
Where do we
picking fights with them on Twitter? That's a different story.
On Twitter's one thing. In person, no.
No.
Will Jim Cornette show up?
I hate that guy so much.
Likewise. Oh, I wish I would have bought one of those shirts, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Me too. I have to fight the urge because sometimes I hate myself because it's what they always say about like arguing with somebody over the internet. You're just both sides. You're idiots if you do it. But I still I just have to resist the urge just to call that guy an old out of touch dinosaur every time I don't know.
All that in front of 25 fans.
And if we could stop everybody. And not because and I've heard this from different people. This hot dog and a handshake bull crap. Could we just stop that? Nobody does. There are guys that are going to throw themselves off a balcony if you're not paying them anything. Yeah. There are guys that are going to do the same thing for X amount of dollars as they would for Y. It's just. I don't try to understand somebody else's mindset. Just freaking enjoy it if you want to enjoy it. If you don't want to enjoy it, don't enjoy it. I watched what was the RSP match where they were putting the needles through their faces? Was it him and
there?
Yeah. Thank you. Watching that with Philly Collins, and Philly walked away. That's not his bag.
I know syringes suck.
Yeah,
those shouldn't be a thing in death matches.
Well, it is. Some people are into it. Some people aren't. You know what? I'm not into it, so I'm just.
I like death matches, but no syringes.
I'm not gonna watch it. If I don't like it, I'll try it once. I'll turn it off. You won't get any more of my money. That's fine. No big deal. But man, why would you shit on somebody else for Sorry, I took that down a road that.
No, I get it. I'm somewhat the same way. My new thing is that what annoys me is the people that eye roll the whole like wrestling is a performance art. I highly believe it. Actually, as soon as I heard Quackenbush in a video call it performance art, I was like, oh my god, like that's what I've been looking for. There's like some old friends of mine that we kind of had like a ongoing debate, like. Not necessarily it was ever heated, but we had our different views. I always said wrestling was a circus act, and they said wrestling was theater. And when Quackenbush came out and was like, "It's performance art," we both looked at each other and we were like, we were like, that's it. Like we're both saying the same thing, but in a different way. But we're basically both saying performance art. And now people just love eye rolling it, and it's the people. Well, I'll openly say this for those who listen to every episode, and even the interview episodes. I had a dude on from I've Got Your 5 Stars. I had him on. I was on his show. And we talked about comedy wrestling and all this kind of stuff. And I gave him like an open chance, like, all right, like talk shit about comedy wrestling and how bad it is. Like, let's have this talk about it being a performance art and all this stuff, and like tell me why I'm wrong. Back down. And then when everything went on with Marco Stunt and the dude that I honestly forget his name, thank God. Like he talks shit on his show about like some of my comments and like about people saying that wrestling is performance art. I'm just like, dude, I gave you an open opportunity to have a conversation about it and you backed down.
Yeah, didn't want a conversation. That's really interesting. You say that circus performance or circus whatever. We just booked that Vita Vaughn star, which a lot of people haven't heard of her, but her I guess shoot job, if you want to call it that. She's a circus performer. She's an aerialist in a circus. And I'm going to ask her, get 2 minutes of her time and say, hey, what's the difference in what you do for a living and what you do for a part-time living, because she's on both sides of the coin. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But we're going down like a whole different rabbit hole.
Anyway, Gage is going to murder him.
MDK.
For more Twitter cesspool talk and talking shit about Jim Cornette, please check out our friends Pod Van Dam. They are way, I'm not say they're way better at it, but that's definitely their wheelhouse, and just talking shit about Cornette is the best. I love it. But anyway. So Gage and Wes Barkley, did you throw your thoughts on this, Kayden?
This match. Oh boy. Yeah, there's gonna be lots of murder, lots of death, lots of kill.
Yeah, this has to be second half of the show. I'm gonna guess one of the last 3 matches. It won't be main event, but it'll either be co-main or the one right before the last 2 matches. There's that whole logic, and it makes so much sense that if a lot of Wes's family and friends come along, they're the ones drinking. We got a big bar right there. They all like to stand right in front of the big bar. Why not keep them out as long as possible? Hold off till the match, and then all right, whatever. After that, like having them main event, Wrestle Rager was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Loved it.
I think this match is 7th or 8th on the card. I think you're absolutely right.
It's going to be great.
It's always hard to say with hardcore matches when they go on, because you don't know how much cleanup's going to be required.
I don't know, man. I just think of the Hell on Earth with Eric Ryan when he bled everywhere all over Turner's Hall.
Hell on Earth 8. My 4th AIW show ever.
And you would figure, that's going to be the main event. Oh no, we're going to have, if I'm correct, ACH versus
30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah, AR Fox main event. So like, if I don't know if it's on IWTV or not.
It is.
Okay, check it out. Like this was my second Hell on Earth. I think it was the first Hell on Earth back there at Turner's Hall, and that what was it?
It's not the most like weapons-filled match ever, but it is ridiculously bloody.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as the match starts, it's like a scatter drill of like shit's going everywhere. They're beating the piss out of each other, and like
they made everyone put the chairs away before the match.
Oh, that's what it was. We had to put the chairs away, and then like Eric Ryan's bleeding everywhere. Like I always would say during that time, like it would look like a crime scene, or it looked like something out of an episode of Dexter. And after the match was done, and with all this blood, they're like, all right, main event time, grab your chair. And it's like,
No,
where?
not their chairs. Everyone just stood up.
No, I hate standing for so long because I have bad ankles, and I think I'd work that day. So I was like, oh no, I'm grabbing this chair and I'm sitting down. Like, there's gonna be blood around me. I don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna sit here. It reminded me of the Beyond show that was at Turner's Hall, where
It had some chairs and you could stand if you felt like it.
yeah. So completely different tangent. Back before Beyond Wrestling was on IWTV.
The face of IWTV.
So yeah, we have that match. Then the last match we're going to dive into, I think it's interesting. I mean, we could talk about the Absolute title, but the Intense title, this interesting matchup, Matthew Justice versus Mance Warner. Oh, this is going to be a great one. How you feeling about it, Kayden?
Ready for them to hit each other in the head with steel chairs a bunch? Oh, boy.
We have
Justice.
We also have its 2/3 of J-Lit finals.
And that was also very, very violent.
And unfortunately, one of the members of this match was, taken out of the match pretty quick.
Duke screwing people over.
No Duke in this match, and no Bill Alfonso. Bill Alfonso, unfortunately, not going to be able to make it to this AIW show, but according to the AIW podcast, he's going to be around for a little while. I can't remember if he said till the end of next year, but
he's a lifer now. He's going to be here through the end of 2020.
Yeah, so pretty cool to have Bill Alfonso, but this is going to be one that he had a previous commitment, so he will not be here. Any more on that, Kayden, before I interrupted you?
Justice on his second Intense title reign now.
Yes?
After losing it to Bishop for like 2-ish months.
Cup of coffee.
And
How
also,
long?
Bishop is not on this card. Not saying he won't be there, but he is not in a match. He could potentially be involved in this match. He could be involved in the Absolute title match. He could be involved in Barkley and Gage. I think that's not knowing exactly what his booking situation is. I have a feeling we will be in the presence of Joshua Bishop.
I think he will be in the building for sure.
Yes, sir. Any more, Kayden?
This match will be violent. Be prepared.
How you
In
feeling?
case you haven't paid attention to any of the other Intense title matches this year and anything Mance has done this year.
There's a good chance that at some point in this match, Kayden will be squished in the front row. There's a good chance. There's a good chance that Stacy Silvers will get leapt on by one Mr. Thrash Justice.
Yes.
And, I just hope they avoid the balcony. I'll be honest with you. If I never see another balcony spot again, it'll be too soon. But, I'll tell you what, how quick that Mance Warner has become like, I hate to use the word, but like a superstar. The guy went from, how long has he been, like a year and change? And now it's like, apart from one or two people that complain about the song, who doesn't love the freaking Mance Warner entrance?
That's the proper Mance entrance.
Yes. The long, drawn out, not quite Nate Webbian entrance, but, the minute and a half before it kicks in, and Justice, these guys, they're style-wise, they're, they seem like two different people. I would place, Justice is kind of that heavy metal, kind of rocker type, and I would place Mance on the other. He's a little bit country, he's a little bit rock and roll, but I think they're just going to beat the piss out of each other. I mean, how Justice keeps looking for crazy stuff to do, jumping off, literally
what else
jumping.
did I jump off of?
Yeah, literally jumping off the ceiling of buildings. If you caught any of those what was that, ladder match shenanigans that they did?
Yeah,
I don't even,
that 9-way ladder scramble of doom.
I honestly don't even know how you pick a winner in it.
And Kayden,
Everyone wins.
Kayden, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this obviously isn't the first time we've seen Justice and Mance Warner in the same ring. I'm not even talking AIW. I feel like there's been a lot of shows, not just AIW, that has had these two in a match or something one way or another. I know they were in a match at GCW in Nashville that also involved one Brett Eisen.
That's one of the few times I could think of.
But I feel like these two are no strangers. I mean, they're no...
Even if they've only wrestled each other a couple times, they know each other, if that makes any sense.
They're definitely no Gary J and Warhorse, but, I mean, they've...
Who have wrestled in every company ever.
Pretty much. Please bring back Gary J, just saying. Anyway,
Long story on that.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to this. I think we've kind of said it, like, throughout the year, like, Matt Justice is his candidate for, like, the best year in AIW, him and Bishop. And I think, like, even when we look at just kind of, like, some of the personal stuff with Justice, you know, getting his gear stolen and shirts and everything, and I feel like he bounced right back with a lot of help from this community of AIW, and it was so awesome to see, and he hasn't lost a step. You know, he's a Intense champion again, and I don't say that like to Infinity and Beyond, where it's like they're champion again. It's like, you know, he fucking did it again. This is awesome. And I don't think there's any complaints, and we can't forget too, he has the J-Lit trophy, not literally, but he has it in his back pocket. Can be used between
that automatic absolute title shot whenever.
Yeah, so. Who knows when that's going to happen?
Could we see him hold both titles?
That would be so awesome. But, I don't know, I think it's he'll have the Intense title for X amount of time, and then maybe right after he loses it, he goes for the Absolute title. Or even maybe he just chills for a while. And then when we least expect it, calls out the champion once a title shot.
Yeah, it's a new wrinkle, too, with that Bill Alfonso being in for the next year. I mean, if you followed any of his career as far as, ECW is concerned, that guy will go to whoever's on top, you know, whether it's Taz or RVD or Sabu back in those days. You know, man, that guy could be a big-time X Factor in 2020.
No.
Maybe somebody needs to get the Sinister Minister on board.
Dude, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Find all these managers that still take bookings.
Could somebody see if Beulah McGillicuddy is available?
Is Tammy out of jail yet?
Oh. Wow. We were going ha-ha, and you took it to a dark place.
I took it into
People say I'm bad.
Yeah.
I took it into a sad truth. Okay, not jail, rehab, whatever it is. Oh, God.
Love you, Tammy.
Maybe next year we can have the Tammy Cinch beer bash instead of Little Guido's beer bash.
Oh, God.
Always Sunny in Cleveland? I don't know.
It just went downhill very fast.
I'm going to push the mute button now.
All right, I guess that's a perfect...
What other show ideas did you have?
I guess that's a perfect opportunity to take a small commercial break. We'll be right back and go over rest of the matches on the card.
Hey, this is Ben.
And this is Zach.
We are the host of the Center Stage Podcast, a podcast that I think you should listen to.
It's fun. It's full of wrestling and movie talk and pop culture and us weirdos just going off about all of it.
We go off the rails so often that this advertisement is about to go off the rails.
We probably should have sat down and scripted it.
I mean, scripting is for people that, you know, care about what it sounds like and if they sound like rational human beings. We're not those people.
That's right. We could die tomorrow, but we're not that lucky.
No, we are not. All right, so we are on iTunes, we are on Spotify, we're on Spreaker, we're on Google Play. So give us a listen. Continue to listen to Wrestling Cheers. Wrestling Cheers is fantastic, and Justin is a great dude. But when you're done with that, when you want to fill the void in your life without, you know, the sadness that takes over your mind, heart, and soul, listen to Center Stage.
Because we'll add to it.
Yes, we will. We're horrible human beings, but we love you.
Love you long time.
And we're back, and we will start with, like I said, the rest of the matches on the card. How about Alex Shelley versus Dominic Garrini? You feeling about this, Kayden?
Alex Shelley making his AIW return after, let me give this a quick look here. I believe it's been 3 years, roughly. And just randomly returns like this.
I mean, it was somewhat explained on the AIW podcast about how, Johnny's the one who beat him, Loser Leaves Town match. Well, Johnny's not around, and this isn't at Mount Carmel, so, like, the conditions have kind of weared off, so that's why, one of the reasons-ish, why we're seeing him back.
It's unreal, in depth like that. Cool. Just a surprise return. I'm cool with it.
I'll be surprised if he has a merch table.
No.
Because I've never seen him with a merch table at a show. Like, if you have a picture with him, like, you're lucky. But
That is very rare.
So who you got in this, Kayden?
I'm gonna go with Dom.
Okay. How about you, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dom, too. I think this is a match that Dom was, like, I don't want to say it fell in his lap, but kind of did fall in his lap. He's getting ready for a 10-day tour of Germany, and I think, a big win over Alex Shelley would really set him off on the right foot.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dominic Garrini as well. Next up, Mercedes Martinez versus Britt Baker. MM versus BB. Kayden, you're our resident women's wrestling aficionado, and you're a fan of this Mercedes Martinez?
She's very, very good. She's not at all new to this pro wrestling thing. And I'm going to be exact on how long she's been wrestling. Because I know she took a break for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And then just started wrestling again in 2016 and has been on quite the roll. Looking, internet doesn't work sometimes.
Well, who do you have in this match?
I'm going to go with, to surprise you, I'm going to go with Britt.
Okay. How about you, Rick?
I don't know if it would be much of a surprise on Britt's farewell to AIW, but I think that Britt Baker may be able to squeak out the win in this one.
I'm going to go Mercedes Martinez. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I do love Britt Baker. I'm going to kind of be sad to see her go, and she'll be, it's kind of like, next week we're saying goodbye to Joey Janela, and this week it's actually going to be saying goodbye to Britt Baker, but hey, D'Lo Brown's here too. So, man.
Hey.
Next up, Matt Justice versus Mance Warner for the Intense title. Something tells me Mance wins, but I'm not saying he wins the title. We still have Bishop lingering around. There could be something there, but I'm saying Matt Justice walks out champion. Who do you got, Rick?
Justice.
Kayden?
Justice is going to retain. Nothing against Mance, but
I think Mance is a future AIW singles champion, whether it's Absolute or Intense. Like, it's going to happen within the next year or two.
It's happening eventually.
Next up, we have, part of the reason for Bobblehead Night, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham and Parker Pierce versus D'Lo Brown and Big Twan Tucker. Not really much to talk about when it comes to this match. One reason why we didn't in the first part of the show, you have Parker Pierce and Big Twan who have a history, and then we all know that earlier this year, Big Twan, Parker Pierce kind of went their own separate ways. Big Twan went with MJF. Parker Pierce went with DCR, and also went from party Parker Pierce to professional Parker Pierce. And Big Twan just had his big moment at not only NXT, but Absolution beating MJF. And it was called correctly by me for WrestleRager. Parker Pierce beat Big Twan Tucker, but it was because of Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham.
Doesn't count then.
No, it counts because I said there was no way that it was going to be fair. I'm like, you have Dr. Dan there. Dr. Dan is going to have his presence known. It wasn't exactly a, interference, but, would he have won if Dr. Dan was there? If he wasn't there, I should say? Well, that's the question. But Big Twan says, Bobblehead Night, I got backup. It's you two versus me and D'Lo Brown. So that's what we have going into this match. And now I will say, D'Lo Brown and Big Twan Tucker. How you feeling about Kayden?
Again, as I said earlier about D'Lo, it's a surprise seeing him here, but I'm excited. And Twan's getting a team with him, so that's cool. Parker and Dan are in for quite the match.
So you got D'Lo Twan?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Rick?
Even out the loss from WrestleRager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Twan's been on a roll with the exception of that, what ended up being a 2-on-1 hiccup. I'm going to have to go ahead and go with Twan and D'Lo Brown as well.
Next up, we have the no DQ anything goes warfare. Wes Barkley versus Nick Gage. I got to go MDK all day, Nick fucking Gage. How about you, Rick?
If Wes Barkley wins, there will be a riot in the Odeon. I'm going to have to go MDK as well.
How about you, Kayden?
Yeah, Gage is going to kill Wes. Sorry, Wes. Sign yourself up for this one.
Filthy Tom Lawler versus KTB for the absolute title. You know, I gotta go with Filthy Tom for right now, but it's great to see KTB getting his second singles title shot within the year.
Even though he's lost his last 2 matches in AIW, still getting a title shot.
People don't remember that shit.
I do. I pay attention.
Well,
Details.
Kayden hasn't discovered the wonders of alcohol yet in his young age.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
What's that?
Because I don't remember crap from these shows.
Alcohol? What's that? I don't know about that. I drink Coca-Cola. Sponsor me.
Sponsor you. Okay. Did you pick Rick?
Oh, I don't even remember if I did. I think Tom Lawler wins, and I'm going to say it's by tap out. How's that for you?
Okay.
I'm getting specific.
And did you have a pick, Kayden?
Lawler is retaining.
Okay.
It's going to do a 630. I'm getting specific on moves now.
Next up, we have...
Maybe he'll just do a 184 times. Yes.
Next up, we have Eric Stevens versus Zach Thomas versus Wheeler Yuta versus Lee Moriarty. I'm going to go Eric Stevens. How about you, Kayden?
Making his return after Jay-Witt, that killer weekend he had. This is actually a difficult one, because I like everyone in this match. I'm going to go with Yuta.
Yuta was the direction I was going to go too, but since you picked him, I don't want to be a copycat. I'm going to go Zach Thomas.
All right.
So we know now who the winner is.
Yep.
Yep.
That always works.
The king of Nesquik. Next up, we have Bitcoin Boys versus Airform versus 40 Acres versus The Production. If we got Duke ringside, I see this as a win for Bitcoin Boys. How about you, Rick?
40 Acres. I think 40 Acres is going to be the next contenders for the tag team titles.
How about you, Kayden?
I'm going to go with The Production.
Okay. And then the last match we have is the AIW Tag Team Title rematch, PME versus 2 Infinity and Beyond. And I'm saying, LOL, PME wins. How about you, Kayden?
PME's retaining. If not, I'm sad.
How about you, Rick?
Yeah, PME has to retain. Colin and Cheech just find something to do for a while. I mean, I'm cool. You know, we'll go to the bar. We'll have a good time. You know, we'll get some tacos, we'll get some chicken wings or something.
Talk about the show.
Bowl of Fruity Pebbles. I don't mind. You know, talk about things. How's life in New York? Just don't go near my tag team titles anytime soon. That would make me sad, like Kayden.
Become singles wrestlers. You guys are both really good for that, too. It's an option.
So, Kayden, you're picking 2 Infinity and Beyond.
Sure, we'll go with that. If it means they don't win, sure.
Oh, well, yeah, but then if they win, you're gonna be like, it's your fault.
I will sit down and I will be sad. I will angrily stare at the ring. Sit there and angrily glare.
Is that what you did when you read the results that they regained the tag titles?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, that'll do it for the picks and for the preview for AIW's Bobblehead Night this Friday at the Odeon, 7:30 bell time. Tickets are all sold out except for general admission, which I think is going to be how things are going from this point forward. So, any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go start with Kayden?
Just the usual at KVR216 on whatever social media you feel like following me on. Not that I'm interesting, but if you like cool wrestling gifts, I'm good at that.
Yeah. How about you, Rick? I know you got a show coming up. That could be a lot of aspects. We talked about that. And also, actually, before we actually get into that, too, we cannot forget, there's also, we mentioned it earlier in the show, if you can't be in Cleveland, you can't make it to this show, you can get it on Fight TV. You can watch it live. You can even, watch it later in the night or tomorrow, whenever, or not tomorrow, you can't watch tomorrow as it is recording, and even when this comes out, you can't watch it tomorrow until the actual showtime, but you can watch it on Saturday is what I was trying to say. And also...
Saturday.
Get it together.
I had a way of getting back around to it, to be like, I fucked up, and this is how I fucked up. Anyway, also, the after party for Bobblehead Night is going to be at the usual after party location of Good Company.
Yeah, Good Company. Say hi to Jonah.
And say hi to, well, I would say everybody else from Pod Van Dam, but
yeah.
Is Ed going to be? I don't even know if Ed's going.
Yeah, Ed's going to be there.
Okay, good.
Ed probably Ed and Jonah both. You probably have 2/3 of Pod Van Dam there.
Yeah. So now, anything that you want to plug?
Oh, we do have a show coming up on the 21st, which of course is the day after AIW. So please go to AIW. If you cannot go to AIW, watch it on Fight TV. That's what I will be doing. Everybody should wave that's in the front, and just know that I will be very jealous of you and your new D'Lo Brown bobblehead pins. We're running 7 o'clock back in Brooklyn, 4470 Ridge Road. We have dubbed it the UXWA Arena. Mm-hmm. It's actually Dr. Martin Luther Church or something like that. I got a lot of Chikara guys coming in. Colony and Boomer Hatfield, Vita Von Star, Ziggy Haim. I pronounced Ziggy Haim incorrectly on the UXWA Today podcast, and she owes me a punch in the stomach for it. So I do not want to make that mistake anymore. Kayden, it's always nice to talk to you. I felt like I haven't talked to you in ages, even though I feel like I see you all the time. And
at all these shows.
Yeah, exactly. Heavyset same. We have to do this more often. I won't be such a stranger. Mass apologies, sir.
And you also can't forget with the UXWA show the added, I don't want to say improvements, but the added the added bits to UXWA going forward. Now this will be the debut of a particular feature.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic because I have Ed from Pod Van Dam, Ed Cody, and Stacy Silvers are going to do commentary on the first. We're being, I want to say professionally recorded, but I don't want to denigrate anybody that's done recordings in the past. DVD and video on demand of UXWA shows. I don't know if there's a big demand for it, but I at least wanted to put that in place so the guys who work on the show can see their performances. I feel that's kind of scummy to not have that available for the guys. A lot of the guys, especially the AIW folks who you're used to, watch their matches over and over again and try to learn and try to get better. So I felt that was the least we could do. We'll have to see. Ed's going to be our play-by-play guy. I'm going to rotate some people in on color commentary. Maybe one of these days we'll get Kayden in to pronounce some names of people that we don't recognize when we book the All Japan show that Pod Van Dam keeps pushing on. Keeps pushing on us.
I know when all the Japanese talent will be in the States.
Well, I figure we'll talk. We'll do lunch. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be different. Man, if nothing else, just come and point and laugh at Ed. That's worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I might be there, but that only depends on other stuff. But I kind of have a previous commitment. But if that changes, I will be there. I love UXWA, but I do know I will be able to go to the November show, which will be the
we're back to back with Hell on Earth, so that's going to be a weekend that people may not remember, depending on how crazy Hell on Earth gets.
So yeah,
we'll see about that Hell on Earth fans bring the weapons match.
I don't know what you're talking about. Worldwide, we do have a hardcore champion again, and worldwide, I tell you what, that guy, he's a something.
Of course. You want to throw out your social media? I should say that's the only thing I don't think you threw out.
Oh, UXWA Rick is what I am now. UXWA Today is our podcast that we do when something matters. I don't want to do a podcast just to do one. So we just did one this week, and it's basically just a rundown of who's on the card for September. Listen to it if you want, or, just come to the show. It's all good.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, much like you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose, desire WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Said it once, say it again. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Still really want people to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Maybe I'll start throwing some exclusive stuff up there. Just kind of fell back. Haven't done Instagram videos in a while. Apologies to that. I might have a new phone for this show, so that could bring back some Instagram videos if I had really bad connections at some of these venues, and I don't know whether it's my phone or whether it's just my signal. So, yeah, that's why it hasn't been around in a while. But anyway, back to everything else. Check out our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Your Vision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcast friends, such as Let the Hate Flow Through You, Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Haunted Home Video, The IndieCast, Center Stage, Sobros Network, UXWA Today, Big Gold Belt Podcast, The Co-Host Wrestling Show, Spotlight Series, I Got Your 5 Stars, and Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling. And check out our other non-podcasting friends such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, PowerSlam.tv, use Wrestling Cheers all one word and get your first month free, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Stay Tough, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, Wrestle Void, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when you're getting paid with a hot dog and a handshake and no one really likes your old ass anymore. Okay, bye!
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you want to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where